And welcome in to the Rant, our first full weekend of the Rant. We had Thursday night. That was kind of the appetizer, and boy, we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Boy, the Giants' offensive line looked great on that kneel down.
On the kneel down, that's right. Good. They've got that one down.
They had
everything else that they're
working on. They blocked the
Dallas
defensive line pretty well on that.
Eli's thrown for 32 yards. It is 16-0 Cowboys at the half here on Channel 2. I know a lot of Cowboy fans here in the Tulsa area going to be sticking around with us. We got a big old ball game to talk about.
Yeah.
OU knocking off number 2 Ohio State. OU now the new number 2 team. Actually got 2 first-place votes in the poll today behind only Alabama. What a special night that was. You actually called it on Friday night, our Friday Night Live show at the end. I asked for a prediction. You had OU winning. I can't remember the score you gave.
34-33.
Okay, you had OU winning.
But on our last rant,
and you've been bullish on Lincoln Riley. And I got to qualify this. Almost everybody thought Lincoln Riley was a great hire for the Sooners, myself included. And I said, there is a ton to like about this guy. But I was more guarded and thought that there would be at least a game, and this still could happen, I suppose. But I was thinking more of a 9-3, 10-2 type season. I think you thought it would be more special. You were higher on Lincoln Riley, and I think last night he showed us why.
I like his demeanor. I like the demeanor on the sideline.
Sure.
And I think it's I don't want to say refreshing change, because obviously it makes it sound like I'm getting all over Bob Stoops for his.
Yeah, right. You got to qualify that all the time, but that's okay. Just you know.
But I just like the attitude, and you can tell there are differences already. For example, it just seems like Mayfield is really comfortable with Riley being the head coach.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just seems like they read each other's minds, which I think is terrific.
Sure. Let's go and roll those Ohio State highlights, if you don't mind.
And you know, OU, for the most part, they didn't dominate the first half, but they outplayed Ohio State.
Sure, absolutely. No, outgained them more than 2-1. Right. It was 3-3.
So with that in mind, you know, I remember there was a game that OU played in Nebraska. Can't exactly pinpoint. I think it was the Charles Thompson year when Holloway had a broken leg.
Okay.
And I remember OU was down at halftime, but they felt so good. And I remember Switzer walking off the field saying, "We got him. We got him." Okay. I just feel good about, you know, just telling anybody who was just happened to be by him at the time. And I kind of had that same feeling last night. I felt that if OU could get a break or two, that they would go on and play well in the second half.
Sure.
Now, the reason I picked them to win is, you know, I have to qualify it by saying that Mayfield had to play close to a perfect game, which I thought in the second half he did.
No doubt, yeah. Missed only one throw.
You know, even though it was El Paso the week before, I just felt that this was a better receiving corps.
Sure.
Coming back for the football, making plays, helping Mayfield make plays.
Much better numbers. Lots of guys making plays. I mean, it was Shepard 2 years ago, Westbrook last season.
Right.
Now you've got a lot of guys helping out. You see Bedlam on the speed sweep there. I'm with you. I like those receivers more than I thought I would. I loved going with Trey Sermon after Abdul Adams fumbled in the first half. Sermon to me just looks like the guy who gives you the best chance against a big physical team like Ohio State, even though he's just a freshman. He was really impressive. They did everything well. The offensive game plan was fantastic. The defensive game plan, every bit as good.
And I'll tell you, that guy's going to be used a lot, Flowers.
Oh, sure. What a weapon he is. And look, Baker Mayfield is just so good, so creative with the run-pass option stuff. He is it's so good at putting it in the running back's belly, pulling it out. You don't know which way he's going.
That was a great, just threw there on the run.
Perfect. Michael Jones.
Yeah, I really think his arm it's really, the arm is NFL ready.
He can make all the throws. Sure.
Is he big enough, tall enough to be an NFL quarterback? That's going to be the question.
Boy, he is. He knows exactly where he needs to go with it. And like you said, he just about pitched a perfect game in the second half yesterday. Is this the play? Yeah, where he steps up and hits Sermon in the window. Gosh, that is
his
perfect.
Players were helping him out on those plays.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
That's one of those things where you
making
can't
winning
read.
Plays. Bob Stoops celebrating. I mean, this was a special night. Did you know OU has exactly 2 road wins over top 2 teams in program history? As great as OU is, Bud Wilkinson, the only other Sooners coach to pull off what Lincoln Riley pulled off last night. I'm so impressed with the organization of this group. And I think Stoops does deserve a lot of credit for that. He laid the groundwork. But I did not expect Lincoln Riley to step in and have it go this seamless. I mean, he outcoached Urban Meyer. Holy moly.
He did.
Oh,
Just imagine
my
that.
goodness.
So where does OU go from here? Now, they've already gotten a lot of love. I thought maybe they would be 3. I thought Clemson would go to 2.
I thought they were going to 2. OU always gets the benefit of the doubt.
Well, they do.
Oklahoma State
Clemson's
never gets the benefit of the doubt. Oklahoma always does. No, you're right. That's right.
You know, I got a kick out of Herb Street acting as if he was so put out
goes.
that Baker Mayfield had the audacity.
The video we've been waiting for. Here's the celebration. He said he had something special planned.
Right,
now, he actually said this was kind of imprumtu, and his teammates put him up to it.
And Fowler kept saying, he's not going to, is he? He's
talking
not
trash
going to,
on the victory lap.
And then he, obviously this is artificial turf, so the flag is not going to stick in the ground.
He's going to try to dot the O.
But, you know, and Herb Street was acting like, oh my, how dare he do that.
Is that our guy Jeff Mead jumping up and down like that?
Is that?
You know, if it was any other team, any other player, I got to admit I probably wouldn't be crazy about this. But this is what you get with Baker Mayfield, right? This is part of the package.
This is what OU fans are going to say. Well, it's okay for them to do the Ohio thing in our stadium, but we're not allowed to celebrate in, excuse me, Ohio State.
I would say that planting a flag is next level. That takes it. But you're right. I mean, you win a big road game, you celebrate. This is all just part of it.
I think Joe Castiglione should schedule Ohio State
let's do this
more than
again.
Every 40 years.
What a great. Okay. Well, I mean, and, you know, Archie Griffin was quoted by ESPN this week as saying, I don't know how far it is from here to there, but it's always felt awfully close. Basically saying these two programs are really similar. And I know that Columbus and Norman are not close. They're not in the same region. And I know they haven't played very often. But somehow it feels like they have because the games have been epic.
Right.
The 77 game here has been relived. Maybe the 78 or whenever they played the second time game has been relived a bunch up there. Last year, they obviously really enjoyed coming to Norman and pulling off the win. And, you know, Sooner fans are enjoying the heck out of it. There's nothing like the start of a new era, right?
Right.
I mean, it was, gosh, I loved that video of Bob Stoops hugging and congratulating the players he recruited, this team that he built in the tunnel last night. But there's nothing like a brand new era and the hope that comes with it. And I know the Sooner fans are, I mean, that's part of what they're enjoying so much today.
Well, not only are they celebrating in Norman, they are celebrating at the Big 12 office.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because this conference needed this win.
No doubt.
Needed it big time. Now, TCU over Arkansas.
That was nice.
That was a good win.
Baylor's still not helping.
No. How bad are they? How brutal are they?
The worst would be the answer. Well, I don't know. Kansas will fight.
They lose to Central Michigan.
Your point is well taken. Nobody, unless Colorado State beats Alabama this week, nobody's going to have a better road win non-conference in all likelihood than what OU accomplished last night.
And the way
things are set up now with the college football playoff, I mean, they get so much out of this.
It's almost like getting a bye week in the win column. When you win a game like this on the road, if you're thinking about being playoff bound.
Absolutely.
A loss on the road by OU, not that I'm not saying it's going to happen, but say they do lose at Stillwater.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be that damaging in the whole scheme of things because, one, they get a chance to play Oklahoma State again if they both finish 1-2. So I think this win, even though it's only the second week, has really not only energized this program, but I think has given the Big 12 some momentum and has allowed OU to make a mistake on down the road if that happens.
And Oklahoma State. I was saying going into this ball game, if OU loses to Ohio State, Oklahoma State's got to run the table to have any shot of making the college football playoff because the Big 12's reputation couldn't be any worse. Well, you win this ball game, and if Oklahoma State can split with OU and win the Big 12 championship game,
you can make an argument.
You could make an argument. Now, I guess a split would be tricky, right? Because OU would still have the Ohio State win non-conference, and even if they lost the Big 12 title game, you know, who knows what the voters may do. But point is, a 12-1 Oklahoma State has a much better shot of making the playoff now than they would if Oklahoma had lost this ball game.
You are correct, sir.
That said, how are OSU fans feeling today? Because I think that there are obviously some huge Sooner fans and then some people like you, astute observers, who thought that Lincoln Riley would be this good. But there were probably more who thought this would be the time to get OU. And we've got Mason Rudolph and James Washington and Tyron Johnson. And then you see this guy look like the second coming of Barry Switzer and Baker Mayfield look like I don't want to say give him the Heisman Trophy now, but we can make him the front runner, right?
Sure.
And that defense, by the way, I mean, they were fantastic. I know that J.T. Barrett can't throw at anything like Mason Rudolph, but that Sooners defense looks improved. And I would think people in Stillwater are going, we got 15 more years of this? We got to deal with this guy?
Well, you know, the door has been ajar for OSU for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and it was, you know, back when John Blake and Snellenberger, they were coaching OU, and OSU had a pretty good team.
Yeah.
But they never could open the door wide. So maybe this just keeps it ajar. But I got to tell you, man, and excuse me, I have a cold, so I'd be more excited right now. But I got to tell you,
louder.
I cannot. This season is going to be so much fun after every week unfolds. Absolutely. With OU and OSU.
No
These
doubt.
two teams are the real thing. These two teams have a legitimate chance to make a giant run.
I love it.
This is going to be, I mean, there was a time when OU and OSU played each other and they were like 2 or 3 in the country.
Yeah.
This is going to be just like that. This is going to be unbelievable. I cannot wait.
And here's
Can I unretire?
Yeah, yeah, no,
I'm kidding.
please.
I'm kidding. Some people are wondering if I retired anyway.
I had a couple days off, and absolutely you can. Come on back.
No,
Paul.
this is.
That's good. And can I throw something in there while you catch your breath? If they play a second time, it'll be a spectacle like we've never seen because it's going to be split close to 50-50 like OU Texas. We won't have experienced Bedlam like that. The fights. The fights in the stands, it's going to be great.
I wonder, are they going to split it down like OU Texas?
I can't wait to see. I doubt it because generally at those games, isn't it kind of one side versus the other?
Look at us already.
But they should.
We're already looking forward to the
Yeah,
championship.
and by the way, Texas did bounce back nicely and beat San Jose State 55-0. And I'm not about to say that Texas, but that helps the Red River game a little bit. And don't you think it helps OU to see Texas
It's not going to help the Red River.
Better?
No, but wait a minute now. Texas has USC this week. So we're going to go right back to the same old Texas sucks.
I tell you what, though, if they play them close,
they won't.
Play them close. And it would be in the Sooners' best interest, not just for Big 12 and all that and quality wins, but just to keep OU's focus on that game where it needs to be. I mean, maybe it'll be, but the last few years that's been a problem for the Sooners. When Texas just looks like they got no shot, OU plays like they're playing a team that has no shot, and they've lost more often than they've won. Or it's been, close to 50-50 since then. So huge win for OU over Ohio State last night. We'll be talking about that all week long, obviously, including our sportscast after.
Do we know who voted
tonight.
for OU #1?
I haven't looked that up. It was
Was
two.
that the coaches poll or was that the?
That was the AP where they got 2 votes. I don't know how many they had otherwise.
When does the coaches poll come out?
It should be out already. I'll check it out. So Oklahoma State, really nice win over South Alabama. Was most impressed by the defense. 44-7 was the final. The offense was what it is. Mason Rudolph was really good. James Washington made plays. But this defense, I mean, what you were just talking about, how good it looks like this is going to be, I think you're right. In the time that I've been here, which is now a decade, I don't think the two teams have been this good and this close. In 08, the Sooners were fantastic, and OSU had a nice team, but they haven't been this good and this close. So, this is fun.
This is going to be fun to debate too. Who has the better receivers? I mean, who could be better than Washington?
I would sure.
But and the whole group.
Who's got the better offense? And by the way, we didn't mention in the trenches. I mean, OU's offensive line was terrific.
Yeah, I was hearing.
Nice
I'm getting so tired of listening to people say, I don't care who it is, that the Ohio State defensive line is the best defensive line I've ever seen in my life. They could play in the pros. They're all first-round draft choices.
Before the
Please,
season even
give
starts.
me a break.
No,
there is no way you can compare an NFL player to a college player. You can't do it.
I wonder if he was
But these are
joking.
coaches saying that. So please, that's why I never believe a thing a coach says. Never in a million years will I ever believe another coach. Because they're full of it. They're full of baloney. There was even a couple of coaches last week gave Texas a top 25 vote, even though they lost.
To Maryland. Yeah.
I mean, they're full of it.
You rounded into form despite the cold. You're good to go.
I just.
No, this is going to be a great year. Exactly right. That was a fun one.
I hear comments like that, this is the best defensive. They're 3 deep and this and that.
Everything's got to be the best ever these days. And we got to rank everything. It's just like this win last night. you know, I don't know. I don't want to try and put it in historical context necessarily. It's just a really, really big win. It's a really big win.
By the way, I think the OU offensive line looks better than the New York Giants offensive line.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. That could be true, though.
They're so bad.
They're back
so
at it.
Bad.
Oh, my word. Oh, that was a replay.
They
Okay.
stink.
Dallas and the Giants back at it. Thanks so much for watching the Rant, everybody.
you.
Chad President, the quarterback at TU. You know, at least for now, certainly earned it. They scored 66 points. Congrats to Chad and TU for winning. And the TU men's soccer team beating #1 Stanford yesterday.
And the Drillers.
Did you miss that? And the Drillers are moving on. They
The
win
Drillers
as well.
are going to the championship of the
We
Texas
got everything
League, baby.
in on this Rant. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.